John Wayne Glover, 1932 to 2005. Often referred to by the media as the Granny Killer or the Monster of Mosman, was an English-born Australian serial killer who murdered 6 elderly women on Sydney's North Shore between 1989 and 1990. Investigators have long suspected he may have had additional victims, but only 6 murders were proven in court. Early life. Glover was born in Wolverhampton, England, and had a long history of theft and violence before emigrating to Australia in the 1950s. By the early 1960s, he had already been convicted of assaults on women and other offences, but these crimes did not result in long prison sentences. He eventually settled in Sydney, married, had 2 daughters, and worked as a sales representative. To neighbours and colleagues, he appeared to be an ordinary family man. The murders. Between January 1989 and March 1990, Glover targeted elderly women, mostly in Sydney's affluent North Shore suburbs, including Mosman, Neutral Bay, Lane Cove and Belrose. His attacks followed a similar pattern. He selected elderly women who were alone. He struck them repeatedly in the head, often with a hammer or similar blunt object. He strangled many of them with their own stockings or pantyhose. He stole money or handbags after the attacks, although robbery is not believed to have been his primary motive. The brutality of the killings shocked Australia. One victim was Lady Winifreda Ashton, the widow of the well-known Australian artist Sir Will Ashton. Investigation. For months, police struggled to identify the killer. A breakthrough came after Glover entered a hospital ward and indecently assaulted an elderly patient. A nurse recorded his vehicle registration number, allowing detectives to identify him. Around the same time, he attempted suicide, leaving behind a note containing the words "No more grannies," which further increased police suspicion. Surveillance and forensic evidence eventually linked him to the murders. Trial. Glover was arrested in March 1990. At trial, his defense argued that he suffered from severe mental illness and diminished responsibility. Psychiatrists testified that he had deep-seated psychological problems, but the jury found that he understood the nature of his actions. He was convicted of 6 murders and sentenced to 6 consecutive life sentences, without the possibility of parole. Death. On the 9th of September, 2005. While imprisoned at Lithgow Correctional Centre in New South Wales, Glover died by suicide after hanging himself in his cell. He was 72 years old. Legacy. John Wayne Glover is regarded as one of Australia's